Mass Movement in the Spotlight.
All right, tonight we're still lucky to be joined by Topher Grace and Teresa Palmer from the new movie Take Me Home Tonight. How you guys doing?
Great. Thank you for having us. Love Boston.
Yeah, hey, good.
So the tagline from the movie is Best Night Ever. I'm guessing you wrote this before you had a chance to be on my show.
Right, because this is the best night ever.
Yeah.
But you don't know until you have amazing nights like this.
Especially with Joe Bermudez. It's rocking, man.
So we'll expect that in the sequel, I guess.
Yeah, well, you would be, 3 years old in the sequel? So, yeah, you're going to be in there, played by the kid from The Sixth Sense.
Nice. So I want to ask you about your hats, because I've seen a few interviews online, and you tend to rock that city's baseball team. Are you big into baseball, or are you just trying to get some brownie points?
This is called the Hat Tour. I'm not into sports in any way, so I have no real allegiance to a team. I will say this when it comes to this Red Sox hat that I'm wearing. I grew up outside of Boston. I went to boarding school for 2 years in Southborough, right near Framingham here, at Fay School. So I have some of that Red Sox blood in me, a little bit. A lot of my friends are from Boston.
A lot of our listeners know you, obviously, from that 70s show. But in this movie, you're doing some different things. You're writing, you're producing. What's it like being on that end?
I didn't write the film. I have a story by credits, so I kind of came up with the idea with a friend of mine, which was, they have movies like Dazed and Confused, which are made in the 90s about the 70s, and movies like American Graffiti, which was made in the 70s about the 50s. But no one had done one for this period of time, the 80s. And we wanted to make the first movie about the 80s that wasn't spoofing the 80s. It wasn't saying how weird a time it was. We want to say, like those great John Hughes movies I grew up watching that I loved. What would it be? Could we make one today?
So with that 70s show, this movie based in the 80s, will you ever do a project close to your heart that's based in this decade?
Well, I have. I mean, I've actually done, most of the things I've done have taken place in the present. But yes, Dimitri Martin was saying when we were on the road, he's like, man, Topher just can't escape time. All of his, Dimitri's in the film.
Is in denial.
It was really funny. Everything I do does take place within a decade. as by the way, everything everyone does takes place within a decade.
And then, Teresa, a lot of our listeners might not know your name, but they definitely know your work. You're in massive movies like The Sorcerers Apprentice, I Am Number 4. How did you team up with Topher for this project?
Look, I was in the script in 2007, and I instantly connected with the character, and the story was so funny and fast-paced, and, I was born in 1986, so I didn't really know much about that period of time, and then I just auditioned for the movie, and Topher decided to cast me in the film, which is good, and then we had a blast shooting the movie a couple of years ago.
And then, just to kind of put rumors to rest, were you guys a couple during this movie? What's the deal with that?
I wish so bad.
He tried so hard to tap that, but it didn't happen.
I took out every trick I had, from crying really, really hard to just straight up begging her to yelling at her on set.
He started physically abusing me, hitting me a few times. It was just bizarre. Trying to get my attention so many different ways.
I took out skywriting, when you have planes that write stuff in the sky, as well as I got a full back tattoo. No.
I thought that was for Lance Bass of NSYNC.
That was the mistake, is that make sure when the tattoo artist is giving you a tattoo that you don't have the picture of the girl you're trying to get the tattoo of right next to a Lance Bass picture, which is my fault for having all those Lance Bass pictures in my wallet.
And then another rumor, Teresa, is that now you're romantically linked to Zac Efron. What's the deal with that?
I saw that on the internet. That's bizarre. Yeah, I've learned a valuable lesson, which isn't bring your friends to a screening, especially if they're crazy famous. So no, I'm not dating Zac Efron.
But you can bring crazy famous people. They just can't be crazy good looking and famous.
There you go. That must be it.
I guess that's why you've never asked me to go. Anywho, we're going to take a quick break. We'll have more with Teresa Palmer and Topher Grace right after this.
Join the movement now at massmovementradio.com.